What really happened to Miss Minutes? One of the most shocking moments of Loki's last episode was when Miss Minutes abruptly lost all her abilities after they reset the TVA's security systems. Just before she fades away, we see her attempt to say some cryptic words to He Who Remains. "You will never be him." This cryptic phrase leads to multiple theories about what she really meant, and what is now the fate of this peculiar character. But what exactly did this artificial intelligence refer to? Will we see it again? And what is its current plan? And if you want to see more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. The story between Miss Minutes and He Who Remains begins long before the creation of the TVA, long before Victor Timely was a conqueror. According to Miss Minutes, it all started when she was a simple artificial intelligence created to play chess. Like many current artificial intelligences, trained only to master that game. However, He Who Remains saw in her much more potential than an average artificial intelligence, and began to give her various advanced skills. Together they spent long eons at the end of time, chatting during endless games of chess. Miss Minutes came to know the innermost secrets of He Who Remains' mind. It is uncertain how much time passed from the creation of Miss Minutes until she sought out Victor Timely, but it is possible that she accompanied him for billions of years. Miss Minutes witnessed He Who Remains conquering and destroying entire universes, seeing the worst of Kang the Conqueror. But she also saw his potential for good. Despite all that time together, Miss Minutes never fully understood her creator, for despite admiring and loving him, He Who Remains never gave her a physical body or made her feel like an equal. She remained eternally his digital servant. After the death of He Who Remains, Miss Minutes continues the job she was assigned to do. She was to go to the past together with Renslayer to deliver the TVA manual to Victor Timely. In this way, He Who Remains would be the cause of her own creation, a paradox like the one we have explained in this channel. Kang is the beginning and the end of his own existence. When Miss Minutes traveled to the past to find Victor Timely, she thought that this would finally be her chance to obtain a physical body and reign alongside He Who Remains. In her mind, she would help create the TVA and all that she had already experienced in the future, with the version of Kang she knew. However, everything that happened turned out to be overwhelming for young Victor Timely, who looked very different from the powerful figure Miss Minutes remembered. Victor was more of an amateur scammer than a scientific visionary. It was then Miss Minutes sadly realized that in the story of He Who Remains, she would always be a mere pawn, a servant program with no real agency. No matter how hard she tried to change the past, her destiny was written. She would never have the physical body or the emotional closeness she longed for with He Who Remains. From this moment on, Miss Minutes became the worst version of herself, although she fulfilled her role in the mission He Who Remains gave her, revealed the truth to Renslayer that he had erased her mind, and helped her to take control of the TVA. Miss Minutes went from being an innocent assistant to a sadistic accomplice, eagerly watching as Renslayer and her loyalists viciously slaughtered former TVA members. Far away was any trace of compassion or morality. Bitterness and the desire for revenge completely consumed Miss Minutes. Minutes became one of the most dangerous entities, as she had access to the TVA system. If it wasn't for the reboot of this system, Miss Minutes and Renslayer would have taken control of the TVA faster. Now in this episode, when they start to reboot everything, we see that Miss Minutes begins to sense it, and tells Victor that he must do something. Miss Minutes' image starts to fade, and then she says the words, "You will never be him."
I only have moments left. Victor, I'm losing my cognitive facilities. I need to tell you.
You'll never be him.
After saying these words, we can see that a floppy disk image is created with the following words. A problem has occurred, and the system will shut down to prevent damage. This is interesting because it means that Miss Minutes is not dead, but that her system was shut down to prevent damage, as sometimes happens with computers. Then we can see the following words. Collecting data for crash dump. Initializing disk for crash dump. Beginning dump of physical memory. This indicates that the error data is being collected for saving. The disk is being initialized to save the error data, and the physical memory is beginning to be dumped. In other words, it is a normal process that occurs when an operating system detects a fatal error to preserve information before shutting down. The error data is saved in a memory dump file, so that we can later analyze what went wrong. So most likely Miss Minutes was not deleted, but rather her system suffered an error, shut down in an emergency, and saved a copy of itself before quote-unquote dying. This leaves open the possibility that her programming and memory still exist somewhere. As we know, in this episode, Victor Timely became multi-dimensional spaghetti, but I think this won't be the last we see of him. I think this is the beginning of He Who Remains, and now it will be his turn to create the TVA again. We may even see him meeting the first version of Miss Minutes, an artificial intelligence created to practice chess, the beginning of a friendship that will last a long time. But Victor Timely knows that eventually this friendship will end badly. I think Miss Minutes died thinking that Victor Timely would never be He Who Remains because she kept her obsession until the end. To her, He Who Remains was always someone special, and Victor Timely is not even close to his feet. However, there is still a second possibility. If Miss Minutes is still alive and manages to have a body, this could pose a problem for the future. Perhaps Victor Timely is Kang the Conqueror, and Miss Minutes has just released him into existence. It is unknown what negative effects Miss Minutes interfering with the timeline will have, if Timely really is He Who Remains. What is clear is that we now understand why she was never given a body. But tell me, what are your thoughts about all this? Will we see Miss Minutes again? Will we see this cruel and vengeful version, or will we see the version that was a simple chess program? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You are on The Oasis Geek.